Good morning, everyone. I hope we've all had a great week. Welcome to our weekly Communities of Practice Sunday check-in session, a half hour of Dharma, reflection, and community connections. My name's Priscilla, and I'm based in sunny Sydney. If you are a new member of our community, please accept our wholehearted welcome and know that if you're unsure or have any questions about our practices and topics, we're all here to help. And if you're a regular, a warm welcome back. It is customary in Australia to begin any meeting by acknowledging the traditional owners of our land. So in the spirit of reconciliation, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we walk, study, and reside, the Wadi Wadi people of the Dharawal Nation. And I pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging. I also pay my respects to the traditional owners of the various lands on which you all are. The check-in sessions have been developed by our Communities of Practice team and the entire community. While we are not a problem-solving community, we offer safe space for reflection and sharing so that we can feel more equipped to face the real world. And guided by humanistic Buddhism, we would like to cultivate our practices and build memorable friendships. Before I hand over to our facilitator today, let's all check in together for a short meditation. Let's close our eyes. Sit comfortably, upright, and take a few deep breaths together. Just relax the body. Let's focus our attention on the tip of the nose and watch the miracle of your breath moving in and out. Now let's do this just for 1 minute together. When you're ready, just slowly open your eyes. From now until the end of the year, our sessions will be devoted to turning point stories, where some of our friends will generously and bravely share the precious moments in their life journeys. During the adventure, we invite you to listen deeply and appreciate the twists and turns that human life offers, using the opportunity to practice being completely present. Today, we are delighted to have Bruce, who is an alumni of NTI and a longtime friend of the Communities of Practice. Let's welcome Bruce.
Okay, today I want to share with you my turning points. As I started to think about this challenge, I realized that my life is more like a winding road than significant turning points at one. And it's gone in many, many directions over 40 years, but I want to highlight a couple of things. So a little bit about me for a start. And I'm going to use the slides so that you can read with me or concentrate on what I'm trying to put across. I was not a good academic student at school, perhaps because unbeknown to me and my parents, I was by today's standards clinically deaf. Hence, where learning was 90% based on oral knowledge sharing, I struggled, and I still struggle to pronounce many words, as you will note in this story sharing. However, I was the best athlete in my year: football, tennis, cricket, track and field. I excelled in them all. And as a result, my name in gold lettering is still on the school's honour board. The school ingrained in me that winning was the true mark of success, and there is only one winner. After school, I discovered that my reputation as a winner on the sporting field opened up all kinds of other pathways. Rewards came from diverse areas, even in academia. One of those rewards took me into youth work and social welfare domain, which eventually led to my winning the election for the presidency of the Australian Council of Social Services. This in turn made me one of the 5 sector heads in Australia who sat with the Prime Minister Hawke at his national summits back in the 80s, a gathering of winners. I believed winners would change the world, and that the key ingredient was the winning, being the best. Each of us had value so long as we were competing to be at the top of some hierarchy. A lot has changed since those days for me. Today, the pronoun I is inappropriate and inaccurate for most things in my life. Today, I strive to understand and be part of the collective we, which incorporates humility, reasonableness, no self and interdependence as a measure of the contributing life. Change was not a single event. It was several experiences over time that were cumulative in their impact. Reflecting on a new experience intensifies the lessons from the earlier events. So gradually, I adopted the impact's value into my everyday life. The impact of future events I anticipate as refining the chosen direction. What were the turning points? There have been several occasions where events I have engaged in posed the question to me, who are you? Today I'm sharing 2. In Sri Lanka amidst the civil war in 1985, in Thailand, living with a rural family in poverty in 1991. My first confronting experience was in Sri Lanka. Because of my position and status with the Asian Pacific sector of the International Council of Social Welfare, I went to visit Dr. A.T. Arianti, the founder of Saravadovia. He graciously received me, not in an office or a home, but in a tent halfway between 2 warring sides, Buddhist Sinhalese and Christian Tamils. He explained to me the 3 strands of the movement that communicated to all those combatants, enabling his peace movement to be between the lines. Gandhian practice of non-violence, ecumenical spirituality, which he used that term to mean the global unity of spirit, and Buddhist philosophy. As we talked, I realized that unlike so many social welfare agencies I had visited, I could sense here the 4 immeasurables: loving kindness, compassion, empathetic joy, and equanimity all around me, but not as words, as behaviors, manifesting as the deepest respect for all combatants. There can be a few more potent experiences of impertinence or interdependence than in a war zone. The image lives on in my mind today. The second experience came while living for a week with a Thai rural family. The family were poor, were loyal to the king, and practiced the king's program for Thailand's future, a sufficient economy. The sufficiency economy was understood by my host as the middle path between poverty and affluence, and was shaped by their moderation and reasonableness in terms of the resources they needed to live comfortably. The purpose of the program was the people as a whole recognizing and relieving suffering in their community. I watched the family's continuous focus on others as a guide to their own consumption and the sharing of their productivity. I watched the Dharma words of no self being acted out by a family of little means, but whose life was joyous. Over the last couple of months, I've discovered and devoured the writings of Avram Elpert, whose recent book, The Good Enough Life, seems to describe where my life's aspiration now lie. Elpert has drawn on Buddhist philosophy using a 6th century quote attributed to the Persian monk Zhang as his catchphrase. The good enough life is the birthright of all. Let's repeat that one. It's so important, I think. The good enough life is the birthright of all, to establish the universality of his book's vision. As I said earlier, my life's motivations have moved a long way from the winner-take-all that I was schooled in to one where my vision is that everyone has a good enough life in which they can find meaning and purpose, value in each other's unique abilities, and appreciate each other's faults. The social order working to ensure decency and sufficiency for all, and our natural world being cared for, and thus sustaining life. Well, that's a really little quick potted version of 40 years of living. I hope you find in those two illustrations some pointers that you can link into. And to help our discussion, I've come up with these 3 questions, which, if I understand breakout rooms as well as my own experience, you may or may not find them useful. Can you recount the experience of cumulative impacts generating change in your life, like being able to describe a stream of events rather than a single event? What do you think the phrase, the good enough life is the birthright of all? What do you think of that? Is it useful? Which aspects of your life dominate your holistic understanding of yourself? The last one's one we could spend probably many weeks on, but maybe someone would like to pick it up and make some comment. So I'll pass back to Priscilla to pass us into our breakout rooms.
Thank you, Bruce. Thank you for sharing with us your 40-year journey and showing us how realizations can be so gradual and cumulative. Now we are invited to contemplate and discuss the questions that Bruce has mentioned, and we'll be placed in groups of 3 to 4 to share and discuss. In the discussion, we recommend you spend some time getting to know each other and then discussing the questions. There will be some Zoom notifications to guide you, but feel free to let the flow of your discussions guide you too. Now, our sessions are guided by metta, which is unconditional love and kindness for all sentient beings. Let's use these breakout sessions to express and receive loving kindness to and from one another. Take time to share, pause, and listen. We'll also ask you to share some of your findings with a larger group at the end of the breakout discussion. So now let's go to the rooms for rich and nourishing discussions. See you all back in 15 minutes. Everyone back. Let's see, Bruce, hello. We'll head over to Bruce to read the chat box comments. So,
I'll make myself alive again and open up my chat box. Right, Tan has got good enough. Be content for everything we've already have. Enjoy, be gratitude, and treasure it without desire for more. I guess that's what I had from this Thai family who was in such incredible poverty by my standards, and yet they were asking that question all the time of the people around. Were they being excessive at the market or taking more than their share of what was available in a very limited situation? This is from Jane. Jonathan and I thought a good enough life was not enough. We had to strive to become the best we could become in order to serve our purpose, which is to help others. Right, so good enough to help others would be the reaching out. Bruce's story inspired me on we welcome empathy. Seeds of compassion welcome everyone. Seeds of interconnectedness welcome equanimity. Seeds of the middle path. Thanks, Joey. Katya, not letting expectations and judgments suck out the energy of living authentically, humbly and lovingly. I love that, particularly the danger of that winner take all absolutely does suck your compassion totally away from you. You become so self-centered. Is there a formula to assess how close am I achieving good enough? That's what that book, Andy, that I mentioned by Elbert, he's trying to find, is there a way of measuring this in our society? And I think what he's striving to find is what the middle path is in real terms, in pragmatic terms. Okay, well, lots more there, from the best in the world to the best for the world. A good life is the birthright of all. Many do not have that opportunity. It is incumbent on all of us then to seek to help others in our shared humanity in all of our own life. Perhaps that's also part of what being good enough is about. Is enough being grateful for the small steps. Okay, Priscilla, I'll throw it back to you.
Thank you, Bruce. We really hope the check-in session was helpful to you, and we hope you experience the unconditional love and compassion of this community. But for anyone who might be experiencing a greater need than what today could meet, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. And you can also reach out to the professional organisations on the screen. So just an announcement. There's an online retreat organised by Nantin Institute and facilitated by our very own Dr. Jonathan Page and Dr. Nadine Levi. It'll be on the 12th and 13th of November, and it's fully online, so anyone from all around the world can attend. The registration link is there, but more details will be sent in the midweek email. Now, today we spoke about moving from the me to we and realising interdependence deeply. Next Sunday, our friend Chris will share his story on the Dharma Wheel of Life. So please do tune in for our continuing sessions on the Turning Point stories. As we check out today, let's recite the dedication of merits together to send love and compassion to each other and whoever is in need.
Let us now dedicate the goodness of what you have done to all living beings. May kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity pervade all worlds. May we cherish and build affinities to benefit all beings. May Chan, Pure Land, and precepts inspire equality and patience. May our gratitude and humility give rise to great vows.
Thank you, Bruce, for your generous sharing today. And thank you, Lai Chin, for being our IT support again. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We'll end recording now and have our usual plenary session. So please do stay around if you have time. Otherwise, we'll see you all again next Sunday at 11 a.m.